Hello everyone, my name is Quinlyn Tosh and I am a creative portrait photographer located in Missouri. Today I want to share 3 of my favorite Photoshop tools that can help you turn an ordinary photo into something funky and fun.
The first tool is Liquify, which allows you to push and pull parts of your image. The second tool is Motion Blur, which stimulates movement by blurring parts of an image, and the third tool is Puppet Warp, enabling precise manipulation by placing pins to control specific areas.
The first tool I want to talk about is Liquify.
Here are a few examples of how I've used them in some of my past work. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open up Photoshop on my computer so I can show you step by step on how I use it.
Before jumping into the tutorial, here are some photos where I've used the Liquify tool to demonstrate its extensive range. From subtly drooping eyes to creating fluid effects, the possibilities are endless. With Photoshop open, start by loading your photo. For this tutorial, the first step is to select out the part of the image that you want to liquify. Once you've made your selection, copy it by pressing Command-C and then pasting it with Command-V. Next, go to the top of your screen and click the Filter tab and hit Liquify. In the Liquify window, you'll notice a variety of tools on the left side. Among them, I typically prefer the Forward Warp tool for most of my adjustments. On the right side, you can modify settings such as size, density, pressure, and rate. I usually tweak these until I find the best fit for my needs. After selecting your desired brush tool and adjusting the sizes, use your mouse or your trackpad to start dragging the selection around. For this example, I chose a swirling, liquid-like motion to shape the area around my subject. Once you're satisfied with the result, click OK at the bottom of the screen. And that's it, you're done. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the original image and the fully edited version. To demonstrate the versatility of the Liquify tool, here's another quick tutorial. In this case, I'm selecting the mouth of my subject and copying and pasting it multiple times. For each mouth selection, I'll select the specific layer and then go to the top menu and click on Filter, followed by Liquify. From there, I start dragging the mouth to create a melting effect. I repeat this process until I'm happy with the result. Here's the final image, along with a side-by-side comparison of the original and the edited version.
Now that we've seen how Liquify can transform our images, let's move on to our second tool, the Motion Blur tool. This effect can create super eye-catching effects with just a few clicks. Here are a few examples of how I've used Motion Blur in some of my images. So we're going to go ahead and open up Photoshop and I'm going to show you exactly how the Motion Blur tool works.
Here are some photos using the Motion Blur tool to showcase its versatility. This effect creates a sense of movement, blurring backgrounds or making elements appear to flow, adding dynamic energy to your visuals. With Photoshop open, start by loading your photo. For this tutorial, the first step is to select out your subject. Once your subject is selected, copy it using Command-C and then paste it with Command-V. Be sure to create 2 layers of that selection. Select the middle layer and then go to the top menu and click on Filter, scroll down to Blur, and choose Motion Blur. When the Motion Blur window opens up, you'll see options for angle and pixels. Adjust the angle until the blur direction looks right. The pixel sliders control the width of the blur, so move it until you achieve your desired effect. Once you're satisfied with the result, click OK, and that's it, you're done. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the original image and the final edited version. Here's one more quick tutorial on Motion Blur. In this case, I'm selecting out the entire subject and copying it twice. I then select the middle layer, then go up to the top menu, click on Filter, followed by Blur, and then choosing Motion Blur. For this photo, I wanted the blurred on both sides, so I copied the blurred layer and pasted it on the opposite side. And here's the final photo, along with a side-by-side comparison.
Moving on to my third tool, Puppet Warp. Here are some examples of how I've used Puppet Warp in some of my photos. It allows you to manipulate specific parts of your image, giving you complete control over positioning and posing. I'm now going to pull up Photoshop to show you exactly how I use the Puppet Warp tool to move my subjects as needed.
Here are some photos where I've used the Puppet Warp tool to showcase its versatility. This tool lets you create points to bend and manipulate shapes, making it perfect for adjusting features. With Photoshop open, start by loading your photo. For this tutorial, the first step is to select out the part of your subject you want to manipulate. Next, go to the top of the screen, click on Edit, and then choose Puppet Warp. Now, begin placing control points on the areas you want to keep stable. These will anchor those parts. I also want to show you how you can use Puppet Warp on multiple parts of the image, so I'm adding control points to the shoe and adjusting to fit properly. Once you're satisfied with your adjustments, you're done, and here's a side-by-side comparison. For one last quick tutorial on Puppet Warp, I'm starting with a blank background and pasting a subject layer from another photo. Next, go to the top of the screen, click on Edit, and choose Puppet Warp. Again, place control points to anchor the parts of the photo you want to keep still. I'm using one point to adjust the position of the arm and some previously placed points to refine the adjustments. And here is the final results, along with a side-by-side comparison of the original image and the unedited version.
And that's it for today's tutorial. I hope these 3 tools have taught you something valuable about turning an ordinary photo into something funky and fun. Be sure to update or download Photoshop today. Thank you again, guys. See ya!